Biafrans, you all know that early voting has started for the President of the United States of America, right? I've secured my vote. I've just done voting. I've done voting. Biafrans in Georgia, go and vote. Biafrans all over the United States, check if the early voting has started in your communities. Go and vote massively. You all know who's going to give us Biafra, right? You all know who's going to give us Biafra, right? You all know the presidential candidate we've been meeting with. You know the presidential candidate that will give us Biafra. Please go and cast your vote. Do it early so that you don't get caught up. I voted. Here is my tag. I secured my vote. Go and secure your vote. It is your duty. Dear friends, go do this now. Do not wait till the last moment. You know who's going to give us Biafra, right? Let's do it. Thank you.
And what we've seen from 2016 to 2020 is that Donald Trump kept that first in terms of a top priority. So, Minister, if we can have a few words and tell us a little bit about the Biafran Nigerians and some of the challenges you're going through, and it would be a privilege. And we were speaking before, and you had the Prime Minister on the phone. There's about 3 million Biafran Nigerians in the country, and he was telling me one thing: when President Trump won in 2016 in Nigeria, when they celebrated that our President Trump won, they actually, several people were killed. So that was a lot to take in here in Palm Beach, sitting in the lobby and having a great time and celebrating the president that we're trying to get elected. Meanwhile, several thousand miles away, you can't even support a candidate 10,000 miles away. So thank you very much, Minister, for being here.
Thank you very much. And thanks for having me. Thank you. Wow. I believe we all know why we are here. It's all about freedom, value, who you are. And
yes, Biafrans, please help us to share this message. Some people will say, what is happening? We are doing it.
Seeking support for the creation of a Yoruba nation. Now, this petition, delivered on behalf of Professor Adebanji Akintoye, leader of the Yoruba Nation movement, called for the UK's intervention in the agitation for a separate state for the Yoruba people. Well, accompanied by key figures from the Yoruba Nation movement, Igboho presented the petition at 10 Downing Street, signaling a continued push for the independence of the Yoruba people. Now, this move highlights the ongoing struggle for self-determination by ethnic groups within Nigeria, with Sunday Igboho and Akintoye at the forefront of the cause for Yoruba nation. Well, in response, this news was over the weekend, actually. But in response to that, the Nigerian government has dismissed the petition as misleading, with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs clarifying that the UK government did not endorse the call for a Yoruba nation. The British High Commissioner in Abuja confirmed that while petitions can be submitted to 10 Downing Street, they are not necessarily supported by the government, which typically refrains from involving itself into domestic matters of other nations. Meanwhile, in the southeast,
Freedom for Yorubas! It's a scam! It's a scam! Yoruba nation! Yoruba nation! It's a scam! Yoruba nation! Yoruba nation! It's a scam! Yoruba nation! Yoruba nation! Now! Now! Yoruba nation!
Now, when this information came out that a petition,
fun and inspiration, join us on
ethnic groups within Nigeria, with Sunday Igboho and Akintoye at the forefront of the cause for Yoruba nation. Well, in response, this news was over the weekend, actually. But in response to that, the Nigerian government has dismissed the petition as misleading, with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs clarifying that the UK government did not endorse the call for a Yoruba nation. The British High Commissioner in Abuja confirmed that while petitions can be submitted to 10 Downing Street, they are not necessarily supported by the government, which typically refrains from involving itself into domestic matters of other nations. Meanwhile, in the southeast, the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, have warned Governor Chukwuma Soludo of Anambra State against intimidating residents who voluntarily observe the sit-at-home protest to demand the release of IPOB leader Nnamdi Kanu. Well, IPOB emphasized that the protest is a peaceful act of self-sacrifice, rooted in the deep frustration with the continued detention of Kanu and the failure of Southeast governors to press for his release. And we know that the seat at home has caused a lot of monies have been lost in the Southeast region due to the seat at home. Well, let's come to our guest now. Welcome once again, gentlemen. I'm going to start off with Barrister Darlington. Barrister, are you ready for me this morning?
Why not?
Always ready. Well, Barrister, now, when this information came out that a petition was sent to 10 Downing Street for the support for the call for Yoruba nation, you know, we came out here and we talked about it. But now, what do you make of this revelation, this stance of the Nigerian state, and the fact that, yes, the position of the UK also in this, that yes, you can send a petition, but it means nothing truly. What do you make of it?
Moses, the way the federal government of Nigeria treated that matter with levity is suspect.
You think ignoring it is treating it with
yes,
levity?
The federal government treated the submission of that petition for secession. They treated it with levity. It's a serious issue. They should have handled it the same way they handled that of Nnamdi Kanu, who is calling for a referendum and self-determination. Because the two issues are not far apart from each other. It's all about leaving Nigeria. So why would they treat it with levity? As if it does not matter. Meanwhile, ordinary folks here who protested against bad governance and was flying a Russian flag. They were charged with treasonable felony.
Yeah, but it's not the same thing. Flying
the moment you have had anything to do with a foreign government against your own government, you're a fifth columnist. You should be treated as an enemy of the state. It's as simple as that. You have forgotten that Sunday Igboho has a charge on his head. He has not even come to exonerate himself from that charge. He has not. He's still a wanted person in Nigeria. The federal government of Nigeria under Buhari has charged him for treasonable felony because he declared a war on Nigerian states. Arms cache of arms were found in his house. He read the secessionist address before the press, where he produced all the symbols of state authority, symbols of state like flag, anthem, what's it called? Their currency, Fadaka, and the rest of them before the press. So such a person going as far as that, and you are treating it with levy, just dismiss it. Now tell me, what is the difference between what he has done and what you are charging him the kind for? What's the difference? So you can see, it's all about different laws for different folks in Nigeria. I know that if somebody from the south have done that, they should have invaded his village and arrested everybody there.
Well, Simon Ekpa is doing worse than that. But,
hold on. I am saying the way they are treating that of the southeast. I'm sure by now somebody would have invaded the southwest now and surrounded the place with arms and whatever. The same way they have done in the southeast. In fact, they should have invaded the southwest now because they want to secede from Nigeria. What's the difference? Is it not the same thing?
Okay. All right then. Okwaluwat, your thoughts on this, really?
All right. As a nation, Nigeria, we have different people within the different ethnic groups that feel being marginalized and out of the system. All right, so we're talking about more than 500 languages, more than 300 ethnic groups. And some are known to be more vocal or more popular in terms of figures, right? When we say politics is all about what? Figures. And as a nation of about 230 million people, if any part of the ethnic group is ready to form a nation, the question is, what do you need to form a nation? What are the figures you need? Do you have the number of residents or the number of people that can put up the referendum? And if you have the number, how are they willing to pest or to push for that new nation? And are you ready to follow the due process? We saw what happened to Sudan and other parts of the country, where other parts of the world, and we're having different nations within a nation. And it led to so many war and famine in the land.
All right, so let's talk about this Yoruba nation agitation. We seem to have divergent opinions here. As a Yoruba man, from your interactions with, other Nigerians, what would you say is the position of majority of those from the Yoruba extraction on wanting to leave Nigeria or wanting to remain in Nigeria? Let's not forget that one from a prominent family, Onitiri, Dupe Onitiri, former Abiola's widow, one time, I think sometime this year, read out, some sort of riot act canvassing for Yoruba nation, even though the family has come out to say they are not in support of it. But you do know that she was a wife of the statesman.
All right, so I'm happy that you took it from that angle, and you also said clearly that the family rejected or refuted that claim.
But that could be a political statement.
Now, well, what we say is that Sunday DMO has been pushing for a new nation from a nation. that is the Yoruba nation. And the question is, all the Yorubas, are we all in support of what he's saying? And are we part of all the process? The answer is no.
No, you now as a person, as a
All
Yoruba
right.
man now, let's bring it down to you. Let's leave the whole Yoruba nation. What is your stand on that agitation from Sunday Igboho? Is it speaking your mind?
Sunday Adeyemo is speaking his own mind. He's not speaking the mind of all Yorubas.
So does it mean that when the Yoruba nation, maybe for instance, is finally being granted, you would distance yourself from that cause?
You said if it is being finally approved, who will approve it? Is it UK government that will approve it? You cannot wake up one day and say because you are popular, you are going to the 10 Downing Street to present a petition. Is UK in charge of Nigeria? If you are ready, there are processes to take in all of this.
But
if you have gotten the number, if you have gotten the number
of
of figure that you want, are you ready to go to the United Nations?
My colleague asked the question. It's a personal one. You, Mr. Okpeoluwa Taiwo, are you in support of the Yoruba nation?
I am in support of Nigeria. I'm not in support of any other nation.
Okay.
That is my
Mr.
stand.
Okpeoluwa, in your opening statement, you said something about numbers, about politics being about numbers and the fact that people should follow due process. And one of the due processes here is conducting a referendum. I want to understand, what is the relationship between numbers and referendum? Don't we have a referendum in our constitution because we don't have enough numbers to conduct a referendum, or what? I want you to link, what you said between population and referendum as a way, to follow due process.
When you have the Constitution of 1999, it was not the people that sat to give that Constitution. It was the military leaders. Now, assuming you have all the communities, all the ethnic groups coming together to put up a Constitution, you can see that the figure is there. Can you compare the figure of all the ethnic groups coming together to form a Constitution and just a military giving the Constitution? Are they the same? The question is not the same. They are not the same. Number one, the figure is not the same. Number two, the representative are not the same. So, and that is why if you have it's not the same. And that you're operating in does not mean that it should continue.
We have National Assembly that represents us. We all went to the polls and elected people in the House of Representatives, and we elected people to represent us in the Senate. If we were very mindful of the fact that we didn't have the numbers to create this constitution, why do we always roll out during elections to go and vote in people to represent us? I want you to create a nexus between population and referendum. That's
now,
what I want.
If you are looking for election, and if you are looking for referendum, you understand that Nigeria constitution as of today is faulty. It is not the people that sat together as a people to bring up that constitution. So if the people, the number of the people, that is the ethnic groups, are not together, so that means the figure is not correlating. So that means you cannot tell me that you're having a constitution in 1999 as a result of referendum. So you can see that something is wrong with the figure. But something is also wrong with the ethnic groups coming together.
So when the economy falters, it's because it is the military that gave us a constitution that we operate in. Because we don't have the numbers to run a proper constitution given to us by ourselves.
Now, the same economy that is faulty, why is it faulty? It's because it's also the same few that is marginalizing the majority. And you are, all of us are shouting that the economy is bad. Okay, the economy will continue to bad as long as the people are not involved in the economic process and policies.
So we should stop blaming the president.
You should stop blaming the president.
And blame the
I have said that before. Right. Blame the people, not the president.
No, don't blame the people. We blame the constitution.
All right, let's bring in John Akerele, who is a journalist and a public affairs analyst, into this conversation. He is in Japan and is joining us virtually. Good morning, John Akerele.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
All right, good to have you. You've been following the conversation so far, and I want to get your take on this issue as regards Mr. Sunday Igboho's letter or petition to the UK Prime Minister and the response we're getting today. What do you really make of that?
Thank you very much, and good morning to all of our viewers all over the globe. Good morning to my also senior colleagues, panelists in the studio, particularly Moses. Please, let's look at this issue of Sunday Igboho with, a double lens. There is a message underneath that agitation. And what is that message? You cannot tell me that everybody is mad in the country. Those who are agitating for Igbo nation, they are mad. Those agitating for Yoruba nation are mad. Do you also know that there are some people also agitating for new creation of states? These are indicators that there are some common factors common to all of these people who are agitators. And what is that thing? Is that they do not feel inclusive in how the government is being run. They feel that the quota, the sharing formula of the country does not favor their own region in their own plight. They feel marginalized. They feel neglected. They feel underdeveloped. And that's why they are saying, if they have their own control of their own states, of their own region, they can better manage their own resources rather than contributing us to the general platform and then getting few. That being said, Nigeria is a sovereign state on its own. And so UK does not have that effort to say, Yoruba nation, have your Yoruba nation. However, there is something called diplomatic ties and bilateral trade between Nigeria and the United Kingdom that we have shared over decades. And so that can also be an avenue where they are exploring in terms of not going through a non-violent approach of having a Yoruba nation. And I think that's what Sunday Adeyemo is doing, not going by the violent approach of having the Yoruba nation. That being said, the question that we should ask is, why is it that the same response that has been melted to other agitators has not been melted to Sunday Igboho? That takes us to the issue of equality. One stone takes all, not different stone for different people. Then and then can we be said that we are a people, a country of equal values, equal consequences for the same action. Don't forget also that some time ago, Sunday Igboho was arrested in Benin Republic. In the case of Nnamdi Kanu, who said he wanted his own IPOB nation, we saw how the government responded to him. And so what Barrister is saying to you in the studio is that let us see that the punishment or the response is the same all across board, irrespective of your ethnicity, irrespective of your geographical location, irrespective of the part of the country you're coming from. As far as we are saying this is one Nigeria, then we must also have equal responses for actions. However, the underlying factor is that the people are not happy. And that is why you keep hearing of different agitations coming from different quarters. Now, will this agitation die? The answer is no. The only thing that can solve this agitation, because if this generation go, the next generation that will come will still continue this agitation. Mark my words. And don't forget that the internet never forgets. And so what the government of the day should be doing, coming to Mr. Okpe's issue now, that the constitution we have was handed over to us by the military. For God's sake, this is over 60 years of that. Are you still blaming that constitution? Have we not had successive governments over the past 60 years? So are you telling me that those successive governments do not know that the constitution is a problem for us? Are you saying that there are not members of the House of Rep, the National Assembly, who have been in that chamber for 24 years? Are you saying that they do not know that constitutional amendment is paramount? And these are the questions we should be asking.
All right,
because
Mr. John.
Indeed
Mr. John, when you were talking, you said something about how some people are being, treated with kid glove when they are agitating, and others are being, faced with a high road. Are you now also saying something that happened to be in line with what Mr. Akintoye, Professor Akintoye said? He said that the federal government is more like having an interest in Sunday Igboho. Maybe he has something he's not letting out, given the fact that he has been accusing the federal government during the time of Brutai of trying to bribe Sunday Igboho from saying more so that he will stay out of the agitation by Yoruba movement.
Well, what I'm saying is, if there is a law and there are consequences for that law, if you have breached the law face the consequences. The law is, that's why if you go to the courtroom, you always see that their emblem that is blindfolded. It does not know you. And so if you have you have gone against that law, you should face the consequences, because the law does not know either you are Nnamdi Kanu or Sunday Igboho. What the law knows is that you have broken the law and you should face the consequences.
So why do you think some people are still in detention and others are moving freely in this country? We have not just Sunday, but we also have Shawore also who push for a movement. And just like Moses Riley says, we have the Onitire who also read out her own cessation plan or act this year. And yet, no arrests have been made and no one is saying anything about that.
My dear, the same thing you are saying, that's the same reason some fraudsters will give to you. Ask them, why are you into fraud? They say to you, what about our senators who are representing us? Are they not bigger fraudsters? When they give you money for your constituency projects we cannot see. The money we cannot see. Which one is a bigger fraudster? Is it him that is just doing petty fraud? Or so we have to look at the way we have degraded ourselves as a people. We have come down to that level where we have lost morals and values, that we can now start talking about this one is a big thief, this one is a small thief. Oh, this one offense is so big, this one offense is so small. Offense is offense, stealing is stealing. Be you a governor or a president or a senator. And until we get to that point where people are punished and are shown as scapegoats. See, growing up for me as a young boy in the state of Lagos, how do we learn to behave ourselves? When somebody steals and the person is flogged publicly, you send a signal to other people who might be thinking in their head or have it in their mind that they want to steal. That is not what we should do, because if you do it, you will be flogged publicly. Now, the fear of being flogged publicly stops some people from stealing. Until now, they never stole. But in a case where people steal and then you give them bigger appointment, you give them a bodyguard and agbada, what you are saying to the other ones is, go and steal, nothing will happen. Good. And so the same thing, a country that has no consequences for actions, anything goes. And that's where we are at this point where we are. All right. But my call out to the president of the nation is to look at these issues. Leave Sunday Igboho, but look at the underlying factors. What are the causes? Why are there several agitations? What can this administration do to ameliorate these agitations? One, for me, is that constitutional review. Once we have a referendum where everybody comes together, sit down and formulate our own constitution by the people, then you'll see that agitations will go down drastically and we'll start addressing all of the issues according to their region, which take us back to regional system of government. Good. And with that, some of our issues will be solved.
All right, good. John, thanks for your thoughts. Please stay with us. We'll come back to you. Let's bring you to the studio now. Barrister Darlington Agomo, I want to ask, do you think that Igboho is serious with what he's doing, or is he merely playing to the gallery? I say that in the light of the fact that, before Tinubu made on the scene as president, the West was complaining, that they had been shortchanged and Buhari did this, that he was nepotistic and all of that. And now the president is a Yoruba man. Just last week, we heard Aremu Shegu Oshoba say that Nigerians should support President Tinubu, have patience with him because he is a Yoruba man, and that he is also going to do another 4-year term after this one. And now we have Sunday Igboho come out to say, oh, we want the Yoruba nation to leave. Do you think that he's sincere? Because presently, it is the Yoruba nation that has benefited in this presidency more than any other in terms of appointment. The North is even kicking. So do you think that Igboho is sincere or is merely playing to the gallery?
Thank you, Mr. Okoro. You see, the greatest problem of we in the South here is that we don't even know that we are being manipulated by some people who want to hold us in bondage. The Southwest and the Southeast are being manipulated in this country called Nigeria. They will use the Yoruba man against the Igbo man.
Who does that?
Some people from the North. Okay. Let me give you the history now. Remember that after June 12th, obviously the Southwest suffered more in the hands of both Babangida and Abacha. They suffered more. And that was why Nade could come up. Most of their leaders another, you know what happened. Now, within that period, when they now brought out, what's it called now? We are going back to civilian administration. Abdul Salami now said that the AD, which was representing the Southwest then, will not contest that election because they were not prepared. Of course, they were coming out from June 12 agitation. Those structure, nothing. And so, a Yoruba leader, Abraham Adesanya, now told Abdul Salam that if the Yoruba did not take part in this election, that they will pull out of Nigeria. Listen very well. At that time, the North knew that they are already losing grip of Nigeria. Remember, they have been the problem. They have been the problem of this country in all ramifications. They don't want things to move forward. They don't want this country to develop. They're always holding on to power as if it's their birthright. I was all over the media telling the Southwest, this is the time for us to come to the table and tell the North, let us rearrange this thing so that nobody will be a slave in Nigeria. Unfortunately, nobody listened. They went to bring out Obasanjo, who would do the business they wanted him to do for them, and he now took over. They were all holding it in trust for the North. Didn't you see what happened? When Obasanjo left, and gradually they took over power. And now, whenever you want to agitate for equal rights in Nigeria, you see how the North will deploy all the military force against you.
But Barrister Darlington, the Northerners are they the ones conducting all the elections? Because we know we've been voting in Nigeria.
I am coming.
That is how we select our leaders.
I am coming. My dear, don't go too far. When this thing was going on, some of us knew, and we are saying it, the Southern leaders here, why not come together? Because every time you be hearing Northern leaders, 19 states of the North, holding meeting on what to do and what not to do. You in the here, have you ever seen the Igbo man and the Yoruba man coming together to say, okay, let us stop this insult on us? So that it is our children that will inherit it. Remember, they used the Southwest, and now the Southwest have taken over, holding it in trust for the North. Immediately, Tinubu stepped down now. I'm sure the North will take over. They will now continue with what they are doing with the Southeast. My dear, if we come together, just like the North, when it comes to political power, do you know that this thing would have, all these agitations here will stop? Because they know what they are doing.
On my question, is Sunday Igboho being sincere, or is it playing to the government?
I want to get there. I want to go there.
Okay.
When Sunday Igboho started Nigeria, remember it was under Buhari's regime. Remember?
Yes.
Good. And the North wanted the Southwest. They needed the Southwest, the support of the Southwest in whatever they are doing here. And so when Sunday Igboho started agitating, it's not as if they don't know what to do with him. Because they needed the support of the South. Remember, Tinubu was already preparing to go to Abuja. And so they were not too keen in trying to use for the same force they are using in Southeast. So they wanted the Southwest as a link, or as a stepping stone to keep the people of the South down. And they succeeded. So when they chased Sunday Igboho into the Republic of Benin, They said, okay, fine, at least there will be peace now. And now they continue what they are doing. If the Southwest were serious, Mr. Okoro, remember that each time that case come up in the Republic of Benin, the entire Yoruba de la crime de la crime, the entire Yoruba leadership will go to Republic of Benin to give him moral support until eventually Tinubu got into power. Of course, the rest is history. Mention any of their boys now that is in detention. I mean major agitators. They are not serious, because if they are serious, my brother, this thing would have happened long ago. When we started this in 1967, if the Southwest has supported us, my brother, we will not be here today. And not to make sure they did not have, that's why they used the Southwest against the Igbos. That Biafra we are talking about in 1967, look, is that not what we are talking about today? The Abuja Accord, who truncated it? It was the permanent secretary from the Southwest who truncated it. When Ogowon came back with Abuja Accord, Manowa, Asiodu, and all of them, they told Ogowon, don't do this, don't sign it. No, this Igbo man, he has used Igbo sense to manipulate you. Don't sign that thing, no. They made the Ogowon not to sign that Abuja Accord. And you know the rest of the story. That was one thing that would have saved Nigeria from civil war. They truncated it. All because of what? The North was manipulating them. Can you see it? So, in time we want to move forward, they will look for somebody they will use to make sure it does not happen. So, this is that's what the boy is doing. The Southwest says, one way or the other. You see some people say yes. It's not as if they are not serious. If they are serious, Mr. Okoro, you will see the reaction. The same way they came out against June 12th. The same way they came out in 2012 against Jonathan. They would have done the same thing. But because a Yoruba man is in Asoro today, I cannot take them serious.
All right.
They are just playing to the gallery.
All right, Barrister.
I'm giving you instances here where they would have taken effort, made serious effort to stop the hegemony of the North against the South here.
Those are your thoughts, and they're quite. I will value your contribution on the program. Let me come back to Opeoluwa now. With everything going on, doesn't this speak to the fragility of the Nigerian state, where we have regions, groups of individuals calling for secession continually? Shouldn't something be done? We don't see this happen in places like America, where you have, a culmination of different people, different groups of people, different. Basically, one can say America is made up of different countries because of how large different states are in the United States of America. We don't see this call for separation, secession. Don't you think there's a larger problem here?
All right. So for Nigeria, we're having like three major issues. Number one, we're having a constitutional problem. Number two, we're having we have a resource allocation issue. All right. And number three, we're also having what we call fundamental behavioral pattern issues. All right. That is our cultural values.
Call it tribal issues.
All right. So if, number one, we're having a constitutional issue, the question is, are we ready, are the leaders ready to bring the people together? Now, each time we have a conversation around that it is a Igbo man that is Nasorok, or it's a Yoruba man that is Nasorok, I'm always, for me, I always smile and look at whoever is having that conversation, as that the person is actually deceiving, either the person is deceiving himself or is deceiving the citizens. Because in this same country, we have Ayin Pius Ayin as Senate President. What was done for Nigeria? In this same country, we have Ikwe Ekeremadu as Deputy Senate President. For years, nothing tangible in the East. In this same country, we have Okadigbo as the Senate President. Nothing tangible as development in the East. Now, we are all blaming Yoruba man. In this same country, we have a Yoruba man who was in president in terms of Olusegun Obasanjo, who refused to develop his own region, even his own state. And we are still blaming the Yoruba man. When are we going to move out of this, our shackles of ethnic bigotry, and conversations. The man in Aso Rock, corruption, nepotism, all of this has no ethnic color. A corrupt Yoruba man will be a corrupt Hausa man. Now, the question is, when we talk about the circumstances around our values, around the resources, like John Akreli said earlier on, agitation is as a result of what? Resources. Resources, resources. Now, how do we move away from there? For us to move away from that resources, we must balance the equation of the Constitution. So you can see that everything still points towards Constitution. Everything does not point towards the Yoruba man or the Igbo man who is Aso Rock. Like Dele Farotimi said, if you bring 4 Obama to lead Nigeria in next 8 years, it will fail fantastically. So as a result of the kind of the process we are running.
Mr. Boluwa, some people
so it's not about the Igbo man that is Aso Rock. The problem of Nigeria as of today is not the North. It's not the North. If you care to listen, it is the people who are ready to be manipulated that will be manipulated. If you're ready today to unite and say that I am fighting for Nigeria, as of today, we should be talking about regional government, not cessation, not IPOB, not Yoruba nation. If truly we are sincere. So whoever is fighting for Yoruba nation, for IPOB nation, is not sincere with Nigeria. The real sincerity should be about regional government. So that when you come to my region, I will undo my resources. Whatever I have, I contribute to the central.
Mr. Bolu,
are you getting me now? Once we do that, everybody will develop, even development will come to different regions. And at that level, regional government will help to strengthening the central.
Mr. Boluwa,
then we can have what?
Mr. Boluwa, thank you so much.
Indigenous development, not ethnic
all right.
development.
Just to be very clear, please, I'm not sure anybody here has blamed the Yoruba man. I'm not sure anybody has blamed the Yoruba man. So let's be very clear on that. And when you say that...
No, people are blaming Yoruba man.
When you say that...
No, you can't disclose that. People are blaming Yoruba man.
We just asked the question. Nobody blamed the Yoruba man.
People are blaming Yoruba man.
On this studio, in this studio?
I don't know whether it's this studio.
Exactly so. You see, when you talk about the Constitution, when you talk about whether it's a Yoruba man that is in office and people are blaming him on that, you will recall, or do you recall that between 1999 and 2007, when Olusegun Obasanjo was the president of this country, there was no agitation. Even if there was, it wasn't intense.
There was agitation.
It wasn't as intense as it is now. Because the man clearly redistributed resources equally among all the ethnic nationalities. It was even Obasanjo that convened a national confab in 2005, ahead of his exit in 2007. Yar'Adua made on the scene. There was no agitation except that in the Niger Delta, that the state itself had criminalized the people. And when they were granted amnesty, the country moved on. Jonathan came. Was there any agitation except the issue of Boko Haram and insecurity? And suddenly, a certain man made on the scene, and everything went down. And you still blame the Constitution? Now, my question is this. Do you, in all honesty, think that our problem is the Constitution, or is it a problem of leadership?
Our problem is the Constitution. Now, when we talk about leadership, how did leader get to the position?
I just told you.
Did he jump into the process?
For 8 years.
Now,
Yar'Adua was president and Jonathan for 6 years. And there was peace in the land, so to say, peace.
You said there was peace. Maybe you had peace in your house as a then.
Because we didn't see the
kind of process. There was agitation in Niger Delta. Obasanjo has to level up some community.
What happened?
And there was supposed to be genocide in that time. Are you aware?
What happened? Do you agree to the fact
that you aware that there was
people killed soldiers in OD? People killed soldiers. Do you approve of that? That was why Obasanjo commanded the military to take charge of OD.
But that was an agitation. It was an agitation.
It was the militancy.
But you said there was peace in Obasanjo.
Mr. Boluwa, hold it. Let me tell you. There was agitation in the Niger Delta because of militancy. The state had clearly criminalized the Niger Delta people. And when Yar'Adua came, what did he do? He granted them amnesty and everything quietened down.
But there was agitation.
Didn't I say that? I said it wasn't as intense as it is
No.
That everybody
you are coloring black to be blue.
There
was a serious agitation. There was serious agitation.
Do you think that is the problem of leadership or that of the constitution? Because Obasanjo operated the same constitution. Yar'Adua did and Jonathan did.
You are Okoro. If you and Barrister Darlington enter Aso Rock today with the kind of constitution we are operating, you will fail fantastically. That's what I'm saying.
Mr. Abolu, a whole lot of people.
Did Obasanjo succeed?
Mr. Abolu,
did he succeed?
Obasanjo succeeded.
He did not succeed.
Obasanjo succeeded.
He did not succeed.
Obasanjo left the economy.
A man that did not develop his region, you're saying that he succeeded.
Mr. Abolu, some people are now saying.
You saw what Buhari did to Napa region.
Mr. Abolu,
he developed his region.
Mr. Abolu,
Obasanjo did not develop his own region. He said he succeeded. He said he succeeded. I'm surprised you're having this conversation.
The northern region that is still posting figures of the poorest of the poor.
Mr. Boluwa, now the question is this: since you have just pointed out,
where's the railway line that Obasanjo did in Southwest?
Mr. Boluwa, since you have just pointed out a whole lot of things, now you made mention of how some people have been there from a particular time to this point in time. You made mention of people who are Senate presidents, and you also remember that you have Senate presidents also from other parts of this country. But I was surprised that I didn't make mention of a Nigerian or Southeastern an Igbo man who is a president, when you're making this thing. And this is where some people are actually hinging on when they make their own. Because they said, why, since you have tried all these people and it didn't work out, why not let the people who have been clamoring, who have been talking more about this, get to that position? Why is it difficult?
No.
Let us give it a fair trial so that they will now say they have tried and they failed. They will now know it is a case of the whole constitution, just like you're pointing out.
Now, as a people, we must understand that we have not been sincere and fair to ourselves, both at the national level and also at the regional level. There's nothing stopping somebody like Rochas from representing you in the last government. But the same set of Easterners gang up against Rochas. There was nothing stopping somebody like Soludo of becoming the president of Nigeria. If Soludo should come out today to become president of Nigeria, I, as Yoruba man, I'll be number one to be his campaign manager.
Let's bring it back again to the just concluded election.
Divided your region.
Bring it back to
the national.
Bring it back to the just concluded election. Just concluded election.
Igbo refused to unite himself.
Mr. Boluwa,
so you can't get the presidency.
Just concluded election.
We brought a P2B, and you saw the inroad he made in the last election. Why was it that the Igbos were asked not to come out and vote? Every time Igbos should go, especially in this Lagos, the so-called Center of Excellence. Why is it the constitution that said that every time, whenever the people of Lagos feel like, they will tell the Igbos, don't vote, go back to your state, go back. Is it consistently? Tell me any time such a thing has happened in the Southeast. Mention the time.
Nobody is disturbing from voting in Lagos. If they disturb you, how come you're having two commissioners? How come you're having chairman who are Igbo men in Lagos? Really? How come you're having vice chairman who are Igbo men in Lagos? At least as Aturi Asam, if I don't know anything, I know of Amu Odofin and I know of Ajerom Ifeolu. The current vice chairman is an Igbo man, a core Igbo man.
You are not being sincere.
How did you get to that position?
Now,
if you unite yourself as an Igbo people, you will get the presidency. When you continue to divide yourself because of who you are, you can't get the presidency. It's as simple as that. It's not the problem of anybody. It's not the problem of anybody.
Mr. Polu, I don't like the fact that you are wrongly profiling an
I'm telling you, we are
you divide yourself. You are outburst. You need to check it. You say the Igbos can never get the presidency.
If you unite yourself, you get it.
You are on national television.
If you unite, you will. Look how you did. Look how you did for Peter Obi. Look how you united for Peter Obi and you got the figure. If you can unite in the next election, you will get 2027. What you did in 2023, if you can unite once again, you will get it.
We are not united.
No, you will get it.
You said we are not united.
No, 2027, prepare for it.
You said we are not united.
2027,
united when Tinubu got it. Tinubu got it because Yoruba.
Barry, please hold on.
Please be sincere to yourself. Meanwhile, the North are telling that they are the one that gave us the vote.
If you are ready, you will get 2027.
All right, gentlemen.
Along with Peter Obi, you will get 2027.
No, you are not the one to decide.
All
you
right.
are not the one to decide.
Well,
what we are saying here,
we don't appreciate the gentleman. We don't appreciate the profiling of an ethnic group, and we also do not appreciate this sort of outburst. We are here to ask questions and find a solution to a problem. So I would like us to to coordinate ourselves in the studio. Thank you very much.
No problem.
Now let's get back to Barrister, please. Thank you. Now let's get back to John Akirele. John, do we still have John Akirele virtually?
Yeah, but I'm here. Can you hear me?
Good to have you. Good to have you, John. Now let's wrap up this conversation. Your thoughts now on basically your concluding thoughts on what you've observed so far, and do respond to the question asked earlier if Mr. Sunday Igboho is being sincere or just playing to the gallery, because I'm not sure we got a direct answer to that question.
Thank you very much, Moses. You see, a place where people have bitterness in their mind as a result of historical precedents. And that's what you're seeing happening in the studio. Barrister, on the other hand, is telling you he's a student of history and he never forgets. Mr. Quello, on the other hand, also, listening to both of them, you can see the divide and you can understand better the kind of mess we are as a people. And so for me, Sunday Igboho, either you say he's playing to the gallery, or he's saying he's just joking, or he's saying what he's saying now does not really carry weight. Don't forget that it's a seed that has been planted. If it did not pull through Sunday Igboho, mark my word, it will still pull through. It might take 40 years, it might take 100 years, but it will still pull through if the underlying issues are not dealt with. Moses, most of us travel outside the country and we see the kind of treatment we get, even when we are not citizens of those countries. How come in our own country we can have such equality? How come we can have such an enabling environment in our own country? Why must it be that I must be a Yoruba man, or I must speak Yoruba to get a job, or I must speak Igbo to get an Igbo office? So we must get to that point where we rise above ethnic bigotry, religious bigotry, where we look at competence and capacity. Who can do this job well? Look at other countries of the world. When they debate, Moses, they debate based on policies and ideas, not a Udu road. Exactly. And so, if you are talking about failure of leadership, Moses, both the North, the South, Southwest, Southeast, and all part of our leaders have all failed us. And the result of that failure is the agitation you are seeing from left, right, and center. And if these failures are not addressed, Moses, I'm scared to say to you that we are just sitting on a time bomb. That is a ticking time bomb for that matter. So for me, it's a call to action that there should be equality in the land. It's a call to action that at this point in time, we need that constitutional review. We need to have a confederation where people can sit together and discuss our constitution. Moses, the one going on presently is the annual state creation, where some people feel they are not part of Edo State and they are not part of Delta State, and so they should create their own state. So my question now is there an increase in the geographical territory? The answer is no. It means that it's the same territory, but some people feel they are not part of it. So how can we now have more inclusive system of governance? All right. How can we make every region be included? That is what we can say. John, we are indeed
before you conclude, interestingly, there's a video I saw some back, and I think we will be playing that video for you. It was online, so we got it from the online space. In this video, before you get to here, in this video, these gentlemen were interviewed, and from their accent, one can say that they are from the southwestern part of Nigeria. And this gentleman spoke convincingly that they are of the opinion that the president is an Igbo man, and so he's favoring the Igbos. Interesting thoughts, I must say. But let's listen to them.
Just on their own, talking.
You said the last time that Tinubu is an Anambra.
Yes, you know.
What are your facts that Tinubu is an Anambra?
Tinubu mother from Osun State. in front of Anambra, you know, we on his side.
Is that the reason why you said that's the reason why Yoruba are suffering?
Yes,
You said Yoruba are suffering because Tinubu is from Anambra.
Yes, that's why we are suffering now.
Why so Tinubu government can't favor Igbo?
Yes, see the reason. The Igbo people, they joined the Tinubu regime. So they no suffering at all.
Igbo people they enjoy.
Well.
Baba, what do you have to say?
It's true. Igbo too, they are enjoying.
They are enjoying Tinubu.
They are enjoying Tinubu administration. He favor them.
He no favor.
He no favor Yoruba and Hausa, but he favor Igbos.
You said Tinubu is from Anambra. Do you?
He from Anambra fixes. His mother from Osun, from
his mother.
His mother Ragbiji from Ragbiji.
Okay. I can't be a Lagosian.
Don't worry, everybody now can be.
He's a Muslim.
He's a Muslim.
But that's the reason why Yoruba people are suffering the government.
Yes. A father from Anambra, from Inewi. Yes. Here with his mother, they meet at Lagos.
Okay.
So that's why
they are suffering because Igbo man, they favor Igbo man.
They favor Igbo man. Yes.
Mama, come. Where did they go?
So there you have it. You do recall that there was a time also that Obasanjo was accused of being from Anambra as well. Well, So these are the thoughts of some Nigerians. You might say they're not very educated, but it goes a long way when you talk about these individuals in Nigeria, these Nigerians having these mindsets. Wouldn't that be a reason for agitation? So if you're talking about playing to the gallery or an actual agitation, wouldn't this be a reason? Because there seemed to be something against those from the southeastern part of Nigeria. Well, let's have John conclude on his thoughts, and then I'll come back to the studio. John, please. One more minute, John. Yes, go ahead.
Yes, you see, for me, it's quite funny, but there's a message in that video that all political elites should learn. And what's that message? Let's have clarity about your background so as to avoid all of these misinformations. Moses, if you are to be a governor, let's know where your father is from. Let's know where your mother is from. So that at the end of the day, something like this will not come up on the social media. Exactly. Now, because we don't even know the identity of Mr. President, with all due respect, all of these are coming out. Some are saying his mother is from Iragbidi, his father is from Anambra. He is the only person who can address this issue. And the issue about identity, about credentials, so many issues are hanging. So in a case where leaders are not given clarity, assumptions will take the air. And that's what you have. So going forward, let's make corrections.
All right, then. Thank you very much, John. Let's come back to the studio. Barrister, go ahead.
Now, Moses, you see, one of the reasons why I always, dwell in history is not because I am a history student, but because we have read so many things about this country. We know there are historical antecedents to all our dealings in Nigeria.
Something to say that Makinde has not told us, the political party. Something to say that Makinde has not told us, the political party, the wreck of Ondo State, belong to. But we know that INEC should be independent. They shouldn't belong to any political party. In fact, they don't have any business with party politics. Now, I'm bringing back again to what he said, that INEC should not be held responsible for, the outcome of our elections. We just know, I love going back to the 2023 general election, whereby they gave us their words that the results of elections will be, signed electronically. But later, what we keep on hearing is that there was an issue when it gets to the presidential election. the governorship election, I beg your pardon, the House of Assembly elections, there were no issues. And we did other elections during that period. Then why is it that when it gets to that of the presidential election, the Beavers, IREV, were having issues?
Biafra marks Exodus 2024. The chain has been broken. Mazi Simon Ekpa is leading Biafra out of Nigeria 2nd December 2024. Are you preparing for the declaration of the restoration of independent United States of Biafra? Biafra Convention in Finland will start from 29th November to December 3rd. You are expected to join thousands, even millions of Biafrans to democratically sign out Nigeria and democratically sign in Biafra. Do you want to hand over a new and everlasting history to your children and your generations? Biafra government is calling on all well-meaning Biafrans, coastal to upland, Rome and diaspora, to massively support the liberation of Biafra, mostly financially and otherwise. Our government will not be a player and a goalkeeper at the same time. We play our own part as a good citizen of Biafra, while our government play their own part as a caring and loving government. As we all know, in Nigeria today, only Biafra land are safe. It's because of the activities of Biafra government, Rome and diaspora, Biafran forces, air, land and sea, led by His Excellency Mazi Simon Ekpa Njoko. Support and continue to support with any fund available to you. You'll be glad you did at the end. To support or to donate, visit our website at biafrarepublicgovernment.org/donate or biafrainUSA.org/donate to participate in the declaration of the restoration of independent state of Biafra in Finland. Book your accreditation now at Biafra Security Administration.org/event. We have our own currency now. Buy and stake USBT Biafran coin, Ejemma. Visit usbt.bankofbiafra.org. Get your Biafra ID card globally with junior verification. Visit Biafra Security Administration.org. Have you supported the liberation of Biafra, my fellow Biafrans? How and when? It counts. God bless Biafra. God bless our President, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. God bless our Prime Minister, Mazi Simon Ekpa. God bless Biafran forces, air, land and sea. God bless Biafran government, Rome and diaspora. God bless Israel. God bless Finland. God bless our friends and well-wishers. God bless our lobbyists. You are doing wonders. Freedom is for everybody. From the office of Biafran government, the great Prime Minister of the great Biafrans, Mazi Simon Ekpa, is inviting all journalists, media houses across the globe to cover the declaration of the restoration of independence of Biafra in Lahti, Finland, from 29th November to December 3rd. Every arrangement has been made by the Biafran government for your accreditation and your accommodation present. Please, for further steps, visit biafrarepublicgovernment.org. Freedom of Biafra is freedom for all. See you in Finland. Bye. How are you all doing? Udo dịrị unu niile.
Onye ukwu ga-ete enwoche makwara, onye nta ga-eti chimokoloke nke mo, onye ụka ga-ebe aka n'isi tie ndị ibe mo, mgbe ndị nsọ ga-alawori ikwu ụfọdụ mmadụ etinyewo onwe ha n'ọkụ mmụọ nke ha ebe ndị ọzọ kpọtara aka ha tere ọgụ ka gị ndị mmadụ na-atụ onwe ụta sị na ha efugo chee were ehihie chee awa agbawa ọsọ ehihie olu ụwa eruwo anya ụwa asịsịgo ike ụwa ejiwo na mmehie akwa riri na-echerekwa onye ukwu ga-ebe egboche ma gbara onye nta ga-eti chimo oloke nke m onye ụka ga-ebu aka n'isi tie ndị ibe m mgbe ndị nsọ ga-alawori ikpe ụwa ebidokwa ejuwala mmehie akwa riri na-echerekwa onye ukwu ga-ete egboche ma gbara onye nta ga-eti chimo oloke nke m onye ụka ga-ebe aka n'isi tie ndị ibe m mgbe ndị nsọ ga-alawori ikpe ụwa ebidokwa ụfọdụ mmadụ etinyewo onwe ha n'ọkụ mmụọ nke ha ebe ndị ọzọ kpọtara aka ha tere ọgụ ka gị ndị mmadụ na-atụ onwe ụta sị na ha efugo chee were ehihie chee awa agbawa ọsọ ehihie olu ụwa eruwo anya ụwa asịsịgo ike ụwa ejiwo na mmehie akwa riri na-echerekwa onye ukwu ga-ebe egboche ma gbara onye nta ga-eti chimo oloke nke m onye ụka ga-ebu aka n'isi tie ndị ibe m mgbe ndị nsọ ga-alawori ikpe ụwa ebidokwa ike ụwa ejuwo na mmehie akwa riri na-echerekwa onye ukwu ga-ete egboche ma gbara onye nta ga-eti chimo oloke nke m onye ụka ga-ebu aka n'isi tie ndị ibe m mgbe ndị nsọ ga-alawori ikpe ụwa ebidokwa ụfọdụ mmadụ etinyewo onwe ha n'ọkụ mmụọ nke ha ebe ndị ọzọ kpọtara aka ha tere ọgụ ka gị ndị mmadụ na-atụ onwe ụta sị na ha efugo chee were ehihie chee awa agbawa ọsọ ehihie olu ụwa eruwo anya ụwa asịsịgo ike ụwa ejiwo na mmehie akwa riri na-echerekwa onye ukwu ga-ebe egboche ma gbara onye nta ga-eti chimo oloke nke m onye ụka ga-ebu aka n'isi tie ndị ibe m mgbe ndị nsọ ga-alawori ikpe ụwa ebidokwa ụwa ejuwo na mmehie akwa riri na-echerekwa onye ukwu ga-ete egboche ma gbara onye nta ga-eti chimo oloke nke m onye ụka ga-ebu aka n'isi tie ndị ibe m mgbe ndị nsọ ga-alawori ikpe ụwa ebidokwa ụfọdụ mmadụ etinyewo onwe ha n'ọkụ mmụọ nke ha ebe ndị ọzọ kpọtara aka ha tere ọgụ ka gị ndị mmadụ na-atụ onwe ụta sị na ha efugo chee were ehihie chee awa agbawa ọsọ ehihie olu ụwa eruwo anya ụwa asịsịgo ike ụwa ejiwo na mmehie akwa riri na-echerekwa onye ukwu ga-ebe egboche ma gbara onye nta ga-eti chimo oloke nke m onye ụka ga-ebu aka n'isi tie ndị ibe m mgbe ndị nsọ ga-alawori ikpe ụwa ebidokwa mmehie akwa riri na-echerekwa onye ukwu ga-ete egboche ma gbara onye nta ga-eti chimo oloke nke m
Yes, lovely Biafrans. Yeah, you may ask why we are doing what we are doing. All indication and everything we found out is nobody believes in Nigeria. All the analysis you've been watching, the guy with a long sleeve, white long sleeve, he supports 100% what Igboho is doing. But we are going home. A lot of people is asking, how can they vote? Please, if you are lovers of freedom and you know how to cut video, this is how to vote, and make sure your own vote is count. Let us show the link, please. When you go to Google, you press Biafra voting link. You see Biafra voting link. This is what you have to press. Then you come here, you will see ongoing Biafran self-referendum. You see it? When you come here, you click here, it will bring you to this place. You will see Biafra Republic.org. This is what you are going to see. Then it will bring you to the vote. You will see the vote here, and you will see the Biafran ID card here. If you are going to Finland declaration, this is here. You will see it here. Biafra also have JC, Biafra JC for football. You can buy for your children, and you can buy for yourself to promote Biafra. This is Biafra JC, and these are their prices. You can buy them online. You can buy them in Biafran shops. This is the Biafran JC, and this is the colors of Biafra JC. You can use it to promote Biafra and make sure that you are promoting your own freedom. These are Biafra JC, quality one, unfaded Biafra JC. This is all you have to see when you go there. These are the movement. If you want to buy Biafra JC, you will go to #TT www.biafrasport.com. When you press here, biafrasport.com, it will take you automatically where you can make shopping for Biafra. You can also see where you put your water when you are going to gym or when you are on sports. And this is the logos you will see, badge. Then these are ruler and pencil, and this is handbag. This is also for children that is going to school, people working in different offices, or if you are still using your bag to go to gym. This is what Biafrans have for you. So lovers of freedom, as you are watching, make sure you share. Those who is asking, how can they vote? This is a very simple way on how to get yourself voted to Biafra, because the time is kicking very, very fast. The time is kicking. The judgment time is here.
Ụfọdụ mmadụ etinyewo onwe ha n'ọkụ mmụọ nke ha, ebe ndị ọzọ kpọtara aka ha tere ọgụ ka gị. Ndị mmadụ na-atụ onwe ụta sị na ha efugo, chee were ehihie chee awa agbaghị ọsọ ehihie. Olu ụwa eruwo, anya ụwa asịsịwo, ike ụwa ejiwo na mmehie akwa riri na-echerekwa. Onye ukwu ga-ebe ewoche ma gbara, onye nta ga-eti chimo oloke nke mo, onye ụka ga-ebe aka n'isi tie ndị ibe mo, mgbe ndị nsọ ga-alawari ikpe ụwa ebidokwa. Ga-eti chimo oloke nke mo, onye ụka ga-ebe aka n'isi mo, ike ụwa ejuwo na mmehie akwa nsọ ga-alawori ịbụ ụwa ebidokwa. Ụfọdụ mmadụ etinyewo onwe ha n'ọkụ mmụọ nke ha, ebe ndị ọzọ kpọtara aka ha tere ọgụ ka gị. Ndị mmadụ na-atụ onwe ụta sị na ha efugo, chee were ehihie chee awa agbawa ọsọ ehihie. Olu ụwa erugo, anya ụwa azịzigbo, ike ụwa ejiwo na mmehie akwa riri na-echerekwa. Onye ukwu ga-ebe egboche ma gbara, onye nta ga-eti chimo oloke nke m. Onye ụka ga-ebe aka n'isi tie ndị ibe m. Mgbe ndị nsọ ga-alawori ịbụ ụwa ebidokwa. Ejuwo na mmehie akwa.
This is the way oge ndị nsọ ga-ana, the link for your going, the link how you are going home mgbe ndị nsọ ga-ana. That is why this thing is very special. The link you will use to go home, to go to the promised land. That is it here now. So try to get what we are doing, and the judgment day is coming very, very fast.
Onye ukwu ga-ete egboche ma gbara, onye nta ga-eti chimo oloke nke m. Onye ụka ga-ebe aka n'isi tie ndị ibe m. Mgbe ndị nsọ ga-alawori ịbụ ụwa ebidokwa. Ụfọdụ mmadụ etinyewo onwe ha n'ọkụ mmụọ nke ha, ebe ndị ọzọ kpọtara aka ha tere ọgụ ka gị. Ndị mmadụ na-atụ onwe ụta sị na ha efugo, chee were ehihie chee awa agbawa ọsọ ehihie. Olu ụwa erugo, anya ụwa azịzigbo, ike ụwa ejiwo na mmehie akwa riri na-echerekwa. Onye ukwu ga-ebe egboche ma gbara, onye nta ga-eti chimo oloke nke m. Onye ụka ga-ebe aka n'isi tie ndị ibe m. Mgbe ndị nsọ ga-alawori ịbụ ụwa ebidokwa.
Okay, lovers of freedom, good morning, everyone. Thank you. We will come back again for special analysis on everything we are doing. If you have not voted, make sure you vote. Don't tell us you don't know how to go to the link. If you cannot vote physically, this is the link to vote on Google. And when you come here, it will give you anything you need to know. You must have email address, Gmail. Ndewonu, lovely Biafrans. We like so much, and we are in love.